snowday.com.
Good morning, America. This morning, deep freeze, killer cold sweeping across the Northeast. The wind chills, insane. Record snowfall in Charleston closing the airport all weekend.
We expect this kind of weather maybe once every 10 years.
Boston's Charles River iced over, cars frozen solid in the streets, and a tidal surge flooding homes. Our weather team here with what you need to know.
Caught on camera, planes collide. Passengers terrified when their plane is struck by another on the ground.
There's people running around, an aircraft on fire.
Passengers forced to evacuate down emergency chutes. We'll tell you how it happened.
Fire and fury fallout. President Trump and his team expressing outrage over the new hot book.
It's completely tabloid gossip.
The author's reaction and the president's tweet overnight, plus a case of arson. The home of an accuser of Republican Senate candidate Roy Moore burns down.
And mega winner, one ticket sold overnight in the Mega Millions drawing. Where it was, as tonight's Powerball grows to $570 million.
I felt it today. Something told me to go and buy a ticket.
Customers flocking to stores with winning track records, hoping to get lucky.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Hey, good morning on this first Saturday of 2018, and it is a dangerously cold one in the Midwest and especially here in the Northeast.
We want you to look at this shot of frozen floodwaters in Duxbury, Massachusetts. Not far away near Boston, we have the Charles River, which is frozen over as well. And then to the south, the Schuylkill River near Philly, also iced over.
And in South Carolina, check out this guy drinking beer on his above-ground pool. This situation, though, is not a joke, although I love this picture. This morning, wind chills in some spots could be negative 30 or 40 degrees, which can produce frostbite in as little as 10 minutes.
That's reason number 3,000,001 to stay inside and not go outside. Here in New York City, Sunday is forecast to be the 13th straight day below freezing. That's the longest stretch in nearly 57 years. So the big question, when will we get relief? So let's start things off with Rob.
We're going to hold off that answer for just a bit. I'll touch on it. Come on, it's the duration of this, the longevity of this cold that's really been exceptionally brutal. It's going to be a top three, as you mentioned. Since 1961, we haven't seen a stretch like this below freezing in New York. And places like Raleigh goes down to the south. Similar stretches, if not all-time record-breaking stretch there. And look at the wind chills all the way from Maine down in through South Carolina today. This polar air coming in, reinforcing this is the coldest stuff right now. -8 in New York City for a wind chill. But look at this, -30 to -40 in Saranac Lake in upstate New York. And tomorrow we don't warm up a whole lot. We're not really going to warm up until the end of this week. So dangerous cold coming in here. And as you saw that one picture in through parts of Boston in the south part there, frozen coastal flooding there. I don't think I've ever seen that. And with us live this morning is Eva Pilgrim just up the road in Boston proper. Hi, Eva.
Hey, Rob, it is frigid here. Right now, it feels like 15 below zero, and this cold weather just adding insult to injury. Much of the East Coast still recovering from that winter storm. Many airports struggling to get back to normal. This morning, some calling it chaos. Passengers stranded inside terminals and on tarmacs at JFK in New York. Weary travelers waiting for hours overnight to deplane. Inside, huge crowds. Airports across the U.S. struggling to recover from the East Coast storm.
It's got to be a lot of snow to close an airport down.
In Charleston, South Carolina, the airport expects to reopen today. Officials shutting it down for lack of snow removal equipment.
We're not equipped like you would be, say, in Boston. You know, we expect this kind of weather maybe once every 10 years.
On the ground, residents assessing the damage.
That was the water line.
The white? The snow?
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's how high the water was back here.
In Massachusetts, storm surge adding insult to injury, cascading on the streets and into basements. Officials now saying this was the highest tide ever recorded in Boston.
If anyone wants to question global warming, just see where the flood zones are. Those zones didn't flood 30 years ago.
The Charles River, now a frozen blanket of snow and ice. In Winthrop, Massachusetts, cars in driveways destroyed.
You can get in the back.
Crews racing to clear roads, trying to figure out what to do with all that snow.
Where do you put it? So we're going to do some removal operations with our snow blower. You can only plow so much.
The storm taking at least 8 lives. In Long Island, 2 dead after cleaning up snow. And these temperatures are not just cold, but they are dangerous. As you guys were mentioning, it doesn't take long to get frostbite in these temperatures. Where I am right now, less than half an hour, guys.
Oh, it's so cold outside. And Eva, thank you. And as we mentioned earlier, Rob's going to have an update on when things might warm up.
Yes, he didn't want to answer that question.
No, he was really dodging
Suspicious.
it. We want to move now to the breaking news overnight. There was an extremely close call on the tarmac with passengers having to evacuate in this frigid weather.
Harrowing video posted to social media. 2 planes clipping wings on the runway. A fire breaking out. ABC's Ariel Reshef is here in studio with more. Ariel, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Paula and Dan. Witnesses say the WestJet flight had just landed from Cancun and was taxiing to the gate when it suddenly was struck by another aircraft. The frightening aftermath caught on camera.
Panic on a Toronto tarmac as 2 planes collide, turning the tail of this Sunwing jet into a ball of flames.
Responding Bravo 12 for aircraft on fire.
Stephen Belford capturing this dramatic cell phone video Friday evening, just after that empty aircraft clipped this WestJet plane as it sat still minutes after touching down from Cancun.
There was fuel being vented onto the wing, and then there was a big fireball, and it went from being very funny to very scary very fast.
There's people running around an aircraft on fire.
Emergency crews flooding the scene, evacuating the WestJet flight's 168 passengers and 6 crew members on the coldest January 5th in Toronto's history. You good? 1 passenger in flip-flops, the temperature plunging to negative 21 degrees.
It was freezing cold, so everyone's like kind of panicking because you're not dressed for winter, you're just dressed for being in the plane.
WestJet tweeting the Boeing 737 was struck by a Sunwing aircraft pushing back from the gate. And Sunwing confirming to ABC News that its plane was being towed and came in contact with another aircraft. Pearson International Airport saying all passengers made it safely into the terminal.
All passengers made it out safely, but authorities say 1 first responder was injured and taken to the hospital. This morning, the Transportation Safety Board is investigating how this could have happened.
Of course they are, Ariel. Thank you very much.
Ariel.
Politics now in that bombshell book, Fire and Fury, which paints a deeply unflattering portrait of the Trump White House, is flying off the shelves this morning.
Certainly is. Meantime, Democrats crying foul as news breaks that the FBI is now looking into the Clinton administration and that senior Republican senators are also asking the Justice Department to criminally investigate the man behind that infamous dossier about Trump's alleged ties to Russia. ABC's David Wright is at the White House for us this morning. Good morning to you, David.
Good morning, Paula and Dan. This new book is the talk of the town here in Washington, and not in a good way for this White House. It's another big distraction for an administration that already seemed to struggle to stay focused. Already, this book is #1 on the Amazon bestseller list. This morning, Fire and Fury isn't just the title of the Capitol's newest bestseller, creating long lines at bookstores.
I heard that it pissed the president off, so I decided to buy it.
That phrase also neatly describes the reaction the book has inspired here at the White House.
It's completely tabloid gossip full of false and fraudulent claims.
The president and his team are expressing outrage at the book's depiction of an administration adrift, rife with infighting, and constantly on the verge of chaos. Overnight, the president tweeted, "Michael Wolff is a total loser who made up stories in order to sell this really boring and untruthful book." Some senior cabinet officials, including the Secretary of Defense, are politely dodging all questions. Others, like the Secretary of State, offer carefully worded rebuttals of the book's bleak depiction of the president.
I've never questioned his mental fitness. I have no reason to question his mental fitness.
They all say he is like a child.
But on Friday's Today Show, author Michael Wolff insisted that all of Trump's inner circle have little respect for the man they serve, regardless of what they may say publicly.
My credibility is being questioned by a man who has less credibility than perhaps anyone who has ever walked on Earth at this point.
Meanwhile, the Trump Justice Department is now launching a new investigation into the Clinton Foundation and whether some donors expected political favors back when Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. The Clinton team's response? Let's call this what it is, a sham. This is a philanthropy that does life-changing work, which Republicans have tried to turn into a political football. It's disgraceful and should be concerning to all Americans. The president is at Camp David, trying to focus on his legislative agenda and the upcoming midterm elections.
It is an extremely cold weekend to be spending at Camp David. The president is there with Republican leaders as well as top members of his cabinet. However, some noteworthy exceptions not on the invitation list. Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Dan and Paula?
It's an interesting omission there, David Wright. Thanks for your reporting. We want to bring in ABC's Koki Roberts. She's in D.C. for us this morning. Good morning to you, Koki.
Good morning. I'm luckily inside.
Yes.
Unlike David.
We wouldn't put you outside.
No.
That's good.
Regarding the Clinton Foundation, the Democrats say this is just the Trump administration attempting to shift the focus. Is that the case, or do you think there's legitimately something there?
Well, obviously, Donald Trump has said in an interview with the New York Times that he can do anything he wants with the Justice Department. And the Justice Department is really just getting whiplash from both sides. So the FBI has reopened or apparently re-upped an investigation into the Clinton Foundation. And that investigation was legitimate. It was a question of whether there was pay for play of people donating to the foundation for favors from the State Department. But whether that whether they've learned anything new is the real question there. Why would it continue now when they've already been investigating it for a good long time? So there is certainly at least a whiff of politics here.
Well, in the same vein, Democrats are also up in arms this morning over the fact that Trump's allies in Congress, senior congressional Republicans, are calling for a criminal investigation into Christopher Steele, who's the author of that infamous dossier looking into Trump's alleged ties to Russia. These Republican senators say they believe Steele may have lied to federal authorities. So, again, the same question. Do you think this one is politically motivated, or is there possibly there?
Well, there might be there in that he might have said something that was not correct, but clearly this is something where the Republicans in Congress have been pressured to do something about this Russian probe, and what they've decided to do is go after the people who have revealed it, as opposed to going after the probe itself, after the Russians themselves. So it is, or the Trump administration, which of course is accused by Democrats of colluding with the Russians. So it is very, very political at the moment in terms of what people are asking the Justice Department to do. And trying to maintain its independence as an important federal agency is going to be very tough for this Justice Department in this administration.
These are interesting times. Koki Roberts,
Right.
we always appreciate your analysis on a Saturday morning, and we will never send you outside. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Never.
Thank you. Never.
Never, I promise.
That's good.
Now this morning to the new developments in the nuclear standoff involving North Korea.
Yeah, North Korea and South Korea have now agreed to sit down and talk next week in advance of the upcoming Olympic Games, which will take place in the South. And ABC's chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz, is in South Korea for us this morning. Martha, good morning.
Good morning, Dan and Paula. Here in Seoul, there is relief that the two sides will be talking again, but there remains deep concern about what happens next. The talks will happen here in the so-called truce village of Panmunjom, where North and South Korean soldiers stand just feet apart on this heavily fortified border. The armistice that suspended the Korean War was signed here in 1953. The topic this time, the North's participation in Olympic Games. It may sound unimportant, but the talks come at a time of incredible tension. The North near perfecting a nuclear weapon that could potentially reach the U.S. Kim Jong-un claiming he has a nuclear button ready to go on his desk. President Trump responding with a schoolyard taunt, tweeting that his is bigger.
I think the rhetoric that North Korea understands is, while it is our objective to achieve a denuclearization through diplomatic efforts, those diplomatic efforts are backed by a strong military option if necessary.
And the show of U.S. military might on the peninsula has been nearly constant. But during the Olympics, the U.S. has agreed to halt military exercises. But what comes after these talks between the North and South is still very much in question. The U.S. saying they will not sit down with the North unless it accepts denuclearization. And the North saying that will never happen. For now, all eyes are on Tuesday. If there is progress made in the talks, there is hope that they will expand. But either way, this nuclear crisis is far from over. Dan and Paula?
All right, Martha Raddatz reporting from the region, and we want to send things over to Ron Claiborne for a look at what else is going on in the news world.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning to you,
Hi.
Paula and Dan, Adrian, Robert. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. We're going to begin with new details about the Las Vegas mass shooter in the days leading up to that massacre. Workers at the Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino had contact with the gunman, Stephen Paddock, every day. On the day of the shooting, October 1st, there was a room service delivery to his room and a call to housekeeping from the room. MGM Resorts, owner of the hotel, says the interactions were normal. Paddock killed 58 people before fatally shooting himself. And new this morning, the U.S. Navy announcing late Friday night that they have located a missing aircraft that crashed back in November. It was located, the remains of it in the South Pacific. The wreckage of the C-2A Greyhound aircraft was that was pinpointed last week in the Philippine Sea at a depth of more than 18,000 feet. Experts say bringing up the wreckage would be one of the deepest recovery attempts ever made. 3 American service members died in the crash. Their bodies were never found. And breaking overnight, Hall of Fame basketball star Julius Erving has been hospitalized after becoming ill at a Philadelphia 76ers game in Philly last night. The 67-year-old Dr. J was honored at the game to mark 35 years since that, his famous cradle dunk. Since repeated only by Rob Marciano. According to Irving's representative, he's expected to be evaluated and should be released, should be okay there. And new this morning, a lawyer for O.J. Simpson threatening a Las Vegas hotel with a $100 million lawsuit over an incident there back in November. Simpson's lawyer accusing the Cosmopolitan Hotel Casino of malice and racial prejudice, claiming that Simpson was singled out from a group of non-African-American friends and then thrown out. The hotel banned Simpson following that incident. Simpson has denied he was intoxicated or unruly at the time that he was removed. In Houston, Texas, nearly 6,000 people who lost their homes in Hurricane Harvey. They are waiting to move into FEMA trailers, but they can't because of a local law preventing those trailers from being used. You can see those trailers here in the video. Thousands of them sitting unused, about 120 miles outside of Houston. A city law restricts manufactured housing units and RV trailers to mobile home parks.
Wow, they're just lined up.
And finally, one Philadelphia father is taking a creative approach to tracking his infant son's growth. Check this out. He's doing it with a Philly cheesesteak.
Oh, yes.
Brad Williams started taking the photos of his son Lucas alongside the famous Philadelphia sandwich when Lucas was just 2 weeks old. After noticing how similar in size the son was to a Philly cheesesteak, he started doing it every month for the last year. Those, by the way, those are new cheesesteaks, not the same rotting cheesecake that he's measuring.
It's never too early to send your son positive messages about heart health.
Right. Yeah, right. And the question is, was that cheesesteak from Geno's or Pat's or Tony Luke's?
Was it Wit?
With or without?
Without.
With or without, yes.
Wit.
I'm a Geno's guy, by the way.
You're Geno's?
Yeah.
I'll take any Philly
Yeah, I don't
cheesesteak.
discriminate.
Come on.
I don't discriminate.
Do you think Rob Marciano is going to answer our question finally?
Yeah, is it going to warm up?
Oh, I think
is there an end in
when was the
sight?
last time I did that cradle dunk? That was
No,
with
not
an
that.
adjustable.
Is that
Still avoiding.
Yes. I was in college, yes.
When is it going to warm up?
It was a Nerf.
It will never warm up.
In my dorm room.
It will never warm up.
Thank you for
New ice age is coming. It's gonna, we got news on
Game of Thrones up in here.
All right, let's go to West Coast. All right, let's brighten things up and go West Coast. It's been a quiet storm season out there. Orange County, Anaheim Public Works, they're out there prepping for a storm that's coming towards California. So they're clearing the storm drains there. They're putting out some of that hydro mulch to suck up some of the water that comes down. They're worried about the scars, the burn scars from the fires that they had, all right? We've got a couple of storms. One's coming in tonight across parts of the Northwest, but this one down here, which is coming from the south, so it's a warm one, that will be driving in during the day on Monday. Significant rainfall with this, a little bit of wind, but just enough rain, maybe 3-4 inches in spots, obviously to bring some debris down those burn areas. So worried about that, and there's high snow levels here, so it's not going to bring a whole lot in the way of snowpack with this storm, but we're seeing a pattern change, thankfully. That's a quick check on what's happening nationally. It's time now for your local forecast.
Well, the deep freeze continues for the D.C. Metro under a wind chill advisory until noon today. That does include the entire viewing area. Look at temperatures to kick things off this morning. Many of us starting out in the single digits, but guess what? It feels much colder than that, below zero through about 10 a.m. And as we head into the afternoon, we still feel like the single digits. Another wind chill advisory arrives tonight for the Metro, and temperatures tomorrow should be in the mid-20s with less wind.
And Paul is right. We haven't quite answered the question when this cold is going to end. That is for the next half an hour.